I'm Luke Kerfuffle, and Deltarune Chapter 5 has revealed to us some shocking truths. What was once subtext has now become the text itself, and we learned the true reason Deltarune is the parallel story to Undertale. And it all comes back to one Flower Man. Flowery has to be my new favorite character. But all his Girona aside, the implications surrounding his behavior and existence are unbelievably telling. He is the flower existing parallel to Flowey from Undertale, and similarly, he contains far more knowledge about the nature of his life and the rules of his world than anyone else. He's the first Darkener we see contain powers similar to and even rivaling Ralsei, and unlike Ralsei, he's far more open about the nature of Dark Worlds, telling Susie about how the battle menus and UI are intrinsic to darkness. We already knew this, but hearing it stated outright by characters in-universe made it feel truly real for the first time. Though what came after that moment was far more surprising. When we run into the first flower colored after one of Undertale's human souls, Aqua, her final attack is labeled as Omega, and it's immediately recognizable as the Cyan Soul's attack from the Omega Flowey battle. Although I guess I have to start referring to it as the Aqua Soul now, huh? As we are introduced to the other soul flowers, we learn that they also have Omega attacks, which directly mirror their soul's attack in Undertale. In the first Anagram theory, I commented upon the fact that Undertale Lighteners are given similar forms and powers in the Dark World to what they have in Undertale. And this reveal about the flowers and their corresponding souls makes me realize that this connection between darkness and Undertale goes deeper than I could have ever expected. These flowers also contain the attributes of their souls in the Dark World, as we see with Yellow referring to himself as Justice and Orange asking if we'll say she was brave. There is absolutely zero precedence for these characters to know anything about their Undertale counterparts. The only example of a character who will have experienced both stories is Sans, and he hasn't yet crossed over to Undertale's timeline. So how is it possible that these Dark Worlds carry so much DNA from the Underground? Well, I might have lied just now. Sans actually isn't the only character to experience both stories. There's also us. In the official FAQ with Toby Fox on Deltarune.com, there's a segment that goes as follows. How does this game relate to Undertale? Is it a sequel? Please don't worry too much about that. Essentially, this is not the world of Undertale. If you completed Undertale, the ending and world are as you left it. If everyone was happy there, the people in the Undertale world will still be happy. So please don't worry about those characters and that world. It will remain untouched. To rephrase that, Deltarune's world is a different one, with different characters that have lived different lives. A whole new story will happen. I don't know what you call this kind of game. It's just a game you can play after you complete Undertale if you want to. That's all. So there's no connections between the two games. It's a different world that might even have different rules. That doesn't mean there will be no connections at all, though. This answer finally makes perfect sense to me after all these years, as with the constant use of the term parallel story in marketing. We, the player, in control of the Red Soul, are infusing it with our expectations regarding these characters. Dark Worlds in the text of the game are fiction made real, and they give life to objects through the lens of how Lighteners view them. They are shaped by the inhabitants of the layer above them. Likewise, we are the inhabitants of the layer above even them. So once Lighteners enter the Dark World, it makes sense that they would take on the forms most familiar to us, being shaped by the lens through which we view them. I'm going to put an extra spoiler warning here for anyone who hasn't beaten the chapter, because at the very end, Flowery says something very important. After his battle with the Roaring Knight, as Flowery lies beneath the tree, sliced in half, he states, "Us plants are neither Darkeners nor Lighteners. We are living beings that take on new consciousness in the dark. The flowers are susceptible to our expectations. That's why they become imbued with their powers from Undertale, but don't have a distinct form, because we the player know so little about each soul. The flowers as living beings, neither Lightener nor Darkener, are simultaneously being shaped by our expectations and forced to fill in the gaps we can't. We know they're supposed to be human, but they don't understand what humans look like. That's why their strongest attacks are Omega, because they think that's just a title for these patterns when we know it's because the battle they're from is with Omega Flowey. This is an unexpected side effect of our power. Our mere presence shapes the lighteners and living beings closest to our layer of reality, just as the lighteners shape the darkeners. But I think our connective power goes deeper than just references. In Chapter 5, Sham finally reveals to us the true nature of shadow crystals. They state, "The shadow crystals are far more than mere pieces of glass. In actuality, they contain a certain power. You could call this the power of will. No, perhaps will isn't right. The power they contain is the power of lost dreams. When a strong attachment is formed, when a dream is gripped tightly and then broken off, these are the shards that remain. Failed dreams. Of course, these things are useless to you, Chris. I, however, am aware of something interesting we can do with them. Something very, very interesting. What I've yet to see anyone discuss is the fact that this exchange is intentionally toying with us. That Sham themselves is intentionally toying with us. The way they begin to say will before cutting themselves off, knowing those of us who've played Undertale will be thinking of determination. The way they end it with the phrase very, very interesting, a direct reference to entry 17. It's like they know we're listening. And I think they do. I think this is highly intentional because I believe the lost dreams don't only belong to the shadow crystal holders. They also belong to us. Spampton Neo is a way of fulfilling the dream for a full Metaton neophyte. Gerson's fight is fully realizing a character fans have wanted to know more about for years. The Roaring Knight is a character we were theorizing about for forever, so of course when they appeared we want to properly fight them. Mew Mew was a character locked in the Nintendo Switch version of Undertale. Now every player gets to experience a battle with her. The only character that doesn't fit this mold is Jevil, because Jevil isn't our dream, he's Toby's. This entire game is Toby's dream, both literally and figuratively. It was once a lost dream, something he felt he wasn't capable of bringing to life. So he took elements of it and gifted them to Undertale. But Undertale was a hit, a massive hit, and now he has the resources, skills, and connections to fully realize his dream. But that dream has changed, shifted under a new light. And now almost all those coming to experience that dream have already gotten to know its characters, already have expectations for them, expectations forged in love. In my last video, I said that Deltarune is constantly, intentionally exploring the relationship between the art, the artist, and the audience. This has never been more true than right now. I believe that Deltarune is actively interrogating these concepts, how expectations both of our own and of our audience shape the art that we create. What happens when our dreams, once lost, are able to finally be realized, not alone, but together. Not as they were, but as something entirely new. Thanks for watching.
Orange. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's Manjarona.